I think it's pretty safe to say that ESPN is the world leader when it comes to all things sports. You know, when it comes to basketball, football, just in general, ESPN is kind of like the headquarters for all things sports related news. Because of that, ESPN has a lot of different analysts that, let's just call it like it is, accomplish different things. On one hand, they have analysts that actually analyze and critique the game, you know, giving us insight, knowledge into what's supposed to be going down, what should go down, what we're kind of seeing in a way that's also just very educational. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you have just a bunch of people that are there for completely entertainment purposes, you know, giving hot takes and unreasonable like logic just to kind of get people talking about it. So today, I'm going to be ranking them. We're going to be putting them in a tier list here. And to be clear, this is just NFL and NBA analysts. This isn't any other sports because this is just basically what I see most of the time anyways. Also, all the analysts that I've selected here are the analysts that you see most often when you turn on ESPN, you see some of these morning shows with these morning talk. I don't have Pat McAfee here. I mean, look, Pat McAfee is really not so much an analyst. At least I wouldn't say so. He's a dude's dude, you know what I mean? But regardless, we're going to get this thing started with Chris Canty. Not a big fan of Chris Canty. Listen, I want to respect the guy. He's played in the league. He played in the league for a while, if I'm not mistaken. But the problem with this guy is he just gives off so many really obnoxious hot takes. The stuff that he said about Joe Burrow last season, it's just not really a big fan of him. He just kind of is there to like give some really hot takes so people can talk about him more. Hopefully so his show pops off more. I'm going to put Canty in the D column. Sorry, Canty. I can't put him any higher than that. I don't want to put him in the F. I think that's a little bit too harsh. But yeah, D for Canty. Next, we have Kimberly A. Martin. Now, Kimberly, she's actually out there doing her on-field reporting. She's always in locker rooms, always on the fields with all these teams and players on the kind of good stuff. I want to respect that. I'm just not super crazy about her attitude and vibe that she gives off when she's on TV. She has this very smart-ass sort of mentality, or she just gives off this know-it-all sort of vibe that I'm not a big fan of. She kind of gives off this, oh, I know everything type of thing. But again, she's worked very hard. She's earned her spot. And look, she's good at what she does. I'm going to put Kimberly in the B tier. I think that's a solid place to put Kimberly Martin. Again, she's nice. I'm not saying she's bad by any means. It's just her attitude can get a little bit weird for me sometimes. I mean, does anyone remember like it was either last year or a year or two that she was like openly making fun of Cam Newton for like how he dressed? I just thought that was kind of weird. Next up, we got Marcus Spears. Marcus Spears for me is easily A tier. This dude, he knows his stuff about football. He knows about what it's like in the trenches, and he doesn't really do anything other than just give his opinion. And I love that. I love just when players that played the game don't try to do these obnoxious takes or anything like that. They just go on there, clock in, give their opinion, and go home. And this guy does that, and he does it very well. I think the guy knows so much about the game of football, and he's really helped guys like me who haven't played the game but have loved watching it over the years, and he's helped give some insight in that. So for me, Spears, A tier, no problem with that. Next, we got Mina Kimes, and this is pretty straightforward. This is the first S tier of the day. Mina Kimes is awesome. Mina, not only is she super knowledgeable of all the games she's talking about, I mean, every football game that she talks about, there's always something new. There's a layer that she brings to the table that is just so refreshing. Again, not one of these hot take artists here. She's up there giving you her perspective of what she's seeing, and she knows so much about the game of football. She brings up numbers and statistics like it's in the back of her pocket. Like she's super smart. She's fun to listen to just in general. And again, doesn't really do much of the hot take nonsense. She's just up there trying to give her critique and analysis and her opinion. And that's all that, at least I hope, that all true sports fans really want. We don't want this entertainment nonsense, man. We want to know more about the game, and Mina does an awesome job at it. Mina, S tier, one of the best that ESPN has easily. Next up, we got Monica McNut, and I'm just going to put her straight up in A tier. Monica, she talks about the NBA a lot, WNBA a lot, and just like Mina, in a way, she does a lot of just kind of giving you her perspective and not going crazy with the takes or anything like that. Not that she can't go crazy with takes. I'm sure if she had like a hot take, but with her, she wouldn't make it like the biggest, craziest thing. She would just give her opinion and be really nice about it. She's super smart, just really knows the game to a T. putting her in A tier. Next up, Ramona Shelbourne. Same thing for her, A tier. And for all the same reasons, Ramona is a legend. She's been around the game for a very long time, has watched it for a very long time, and has gotten to be around some of the greatest players to ever do it. She knows what players are doing on and off the court during practices in the locker rooms. She's doing the gritty work, and she's earned her spot in ESPN's echelon of analysts, A tier. Next up on the list, we've got Ryan Clark. Now, Ryan... What's funny with him is that at first I really liked Ryan, but as he's been on TV more and more, and as he's had his own show, The Pivot, which, don't get me wrong, I love what Ryan is doing for players, current and former, how he's trying to get insight into what they're doing now. He's a very smart dude. There's no getting around that. But lately, Ryan has kind of gone a little bit on leaning over the edge a little bit in some instances. I mean, not that long ago, he was saying to somebody, I can't remember their name, where like, oh, well, you weren't a player, you can't say this or that, and he got a lot of flack for it. I do think there are times where he does get a little bit stubborn with his takes, but at the end of the day, Ryan is solid. He does give a very nice analysis and critique. And again, he's earned the success that he has gotten. I think he even won a couple of Emmys for his show. So I'm going to put Ryan at B tier. I think Ryan is a solid B tier. Next up, we got Jeff Saturday. And Jeff Saturday, listen, man, he's fun to listen to. He can be really funny, but he can also, again, give a perspective of an offensive lineman. I mean, this dude, he stands for his guys in the trenches, and I respect the hell out of him for that. I'm going to go with B tier for Saturday as well. He gives his critique. He gives an analysis. He has some fun with it. It's just that, first off, we don't see too much of him. I mean, I guess in comparison to everyone else on this list, he's up there enough, but still, Saturday's just fun. You know what? Wait a minute. You know what? I'm going to go A tier for Saturday. Now that I'm kind of thinking about it, saying it out loud, I'll put Saturday in A tier. I really do enjoy listening to him and hearing what he has to say about a lot of these different teams and lines, so on and so forth. Now, okay, these next two, I don't know if they technically count as analysts because they're more reporters and leakers, if anything like that. But, I mean, we got Adam Shefter here, and if we're just talking strictly in terms of NFL breaking news and reports and all that kind of stuff, Shefty belongs in A tier. He's basically the Wojnarowski of the NFL. He's Woj of the NFL. And Woj was S tier when he was working. And I got to put Shefty there too. Shefty, he's also fun to listen to. He also knows so much about the game of football, but just in terms of what he does best, which is reporting news, breaking news, all that kind of stuff, S tier easy. Which leads me to Shams. Good old Shams. Now listen, Shams has a bit of a weird reputation, right? Like when Woj was still in the game, everyone, always took Woj over Shams. That's just what it was. Woj is a legend. I'm happy for what he's doing now. I do miss him, but still, Shams has now taken his spot in the NBA realm, and people sort of have this love-hate relationship with him, and I can sort of see why. He does have, there's been some instances in the past where Shams would like report a certain story when he probably shouldn't have. I guess it doesn't make much sense in context, but those of us that know. With Shams, I mean, he does do what he does very well. I can't deny him that. I think I'm going to go with A tier for Shams because, again, it was yin and yang between him and Woj. So I'm just gonna go A tier. I think that's fair for Shams. He's not Shefty. He's not Shefty. Next up, Brian Windhorst, and this might be a hot take. I'm going S tier for Windy. I love Windy, man. Like, Windy, no frills, no gimmicks. Like, this dude, he is the opposite of some of the other guys that we're going to see on this list very soon. He's just very straight to the point. He's kind of plain in a way, but in the best way possible. He doesn't look for the drama or anything like that. He just gives an opinion and is very fair. He's very nice. And this guy's also doing a lot of the dirty work. He's talking to players. He's in locker rooms, all that kind of stuff. And I love and appreciate him for it. Windy, super smart, one of the best minds in analysts right now. Love Windy. S tier. Damian Woody. Love Damian. Love Woody. We're going to put him A tier as well. Woody is again, a lot of the same sort of qualities as Spears that we talked about earlier. I mean? He's very knowledgeable. He sticks up for his guys in his position, and he just gives a very honest and fair critique, but also throws in some fun in there. So, I'm putting him A tier too. Next up, we got Dan Orlovski, and you know what? I've thought about this for a while. S tier. Dan Orlovski's S tier. We need more guys on TV like Dan. He's had some weird takes in the past, I'll admit. And when it comes to his like sort of interests in food, I'm sure anyone that has watched ESPN has watched and heard like some of the things that he likes to eat. Very weird palate, but when it comes to analyzing NFL players, specifically quarterbacks, there is nobody that I want to listen to more than Dan Orlovski. I mean, I don't care what he did when he was playing the NFL. That doesn't matter to me. This guy, he goes through so much tape. He goes through so many plays, so many different games, and gives us the best critique and consensus possible for what we're seeing. He's not always right, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, he puts in so much effort and work. And again, he's not a hot take artist. He doesn't care about like giving these sound bites, anything like that. He just is so passionate about quarterback play and the NFL, and he's so engaging and fun to listen to. He deserved that extension that he got. ESPN, hold on to Dan Orlovski because he is great. S tier, he's amazing. Okay, next one up, Kendrick Perkins. And look, I want to be as respectful as possible, as I've been with pretty much anyone on this tier list here. Kendrick Perkins, I am so sorry because, listen, the people that ESPN have gotten rid of in favor of Kendrick Perkins is so embarrassing. I mean, just as an example, Zach Lowe was let go of ESPN for this guy. I just don't understand it. With Perk, he is absolutely a hot take artist. I'm not saying he doesn't know anything about basketball. He clearly does. He played in the league for a long time. He was a solid, nice player for the majority of his career. I want to be as respectful as possible. But just as an analyst, there's been so many baffling bad takes from this guy that I just couldn't understand it. I couldn't fathom it, to be honest with you. He can be entertaining to watch, don't get me wrong, with his like his similes that he does, like, all the like this guy got 20 chicken nuggets and 5 biscuits on the side, like, like he can be entertaining, but just as an analyst, he's definitely one of the weaker ones that ESPN has. I think putting F would just be too mean. I'm going to go D tier. He's right with Canty. I'm sorry. I'm not a big fan. Next up, we have Rex Ryan, a former NFL coach. Just one of the best football minds I think ESPN has. I'm actually, because I don't think we see him enough on TV. He does have some crazy takes, I'll admit. He does have some pretty weird analysis sometimes. But you know what? I'm going to go with a solid B tier for Rex Ryan. Solid B tier because we just don't see enough of him. I don't think ESPN has him enough on these NFL coverages. But for what it is, Rex Ryan, he's super, super smart with football. You know what? I'm talking myself out of it. A tier. A tier. I really do like him. I really do appreciate him. Next up, probably the most recognizable face in all of ESPN. He quite honestly is the face of ESPN. Stephen A. Smith. Now, Stephen A., I used to really be a fan of. He, for all of his hot takes and all of his entertainment prowess, I did truly believe at a point that Stephen A. would give an honest opinion. And I still do think he does to an extent. But man, Stephen A. has become more and more unbearable over the years. Pretty much ever since the Max Kellerman era, which, by the way, I don't appreciate what this guy did to get Max Kellerman off the show. I thought that was very weird. And then everything with the whole LeBron James situation that happened earlier this year just left a very sour taste in my mouth for someone like him. This dude is all entertainment. He's all ratings. I just don't think the guy really cares too much about actual analysis. He cares about ratings and what he can do to get people watching First Take, making it the number one show that it's been for so long, which I'll give him credit for. When it comes to that, Stephen A. is a massively successful person, and he's earned it. He's earned all of it. But just in terms of his actual analysis, I think he's really kind of gotten knocked down a couple of notches for a lot of people, especially because, again, of all that LeBron James drama that has gone on. Like, openly admitting that you just don't like one of the greatest players playing that is still playing in the league, having a clear bias against him, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. I'm putting Stephen A. D tier. I mean, I was thinking about F tier for Perkins, but again, I thought that'd be a little bit too much. So I'm doing Stephen A with D tier with Perk. I'm just not a big fan of him anymore. Which leaves the most recent member, Cam Newton. I can't really say too much about Cam right now because, again, he just got put on as a regular for First Take. But Cam Newton, he clearly knows so much about the game. He was one of the best players in the league when he was playing, especially during his peak. Former NFL MVP, all that kind of stuff. Cam, I'm going to put C tier for Cam right now because it's just too soon. He's had some really nice takes, but he's also had some really weird takes too, if I'm being honest. But Cam, I'm going to put C tier just for right now. It could obviously change after another year or two. Let's see what he does. But yeah, that's everyone that I could think of right now. I think these are the most recognizable, the analysts that we see the most often. Please let me know in the comments what you think about this tier list. And until next time, peace.